living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we go walk it out and move mountains. We go walk it out, move mountains, and I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope. And for that we have each other. And for that we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. We will rise 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up high like the wave. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. Now rise like the day. I rise up in spite of the ache. We will rise 1,000 times again.
Let us come to God in prayer. Our most gracious God, we gather here today, together, as one people from different places. Bind us together in your love. Help us to go beyond those things that separate us, that we might unite in your presence as one people from different places with different creeds, whether it's by race or idea. Help us to put those things aside in your presence to be your people. We come today to honor a dream that still lives on. We pray, O Lord, that you unite us in that dream, that we can stand before you and with each other to be one people, united and freed. In Jesus' name, amen.
When we all leave here today, my hope is that from hearing Mrs. St. James about some of the work that she has done will help us remember that Dr. King's vision was about equality. And when we leave this morning, may Dr. King's words of unity and hope inspire us all to continue our efforts for justice and equality each and every day of our lives. I want to thank you all for being here today. It's an important event in our city. And may all of you have a great day, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ed Naylor. I'm the Vice President of Student Affairs and Legal Affairs here at North Carolina Wesleyan College. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to our campus. We're glad that you're here. We hope that you'll hang around today after this event is over, and we hope that you'll come back. And if any of you would like a tour or like to know more about the college, we'd be glad to do that. We're so very proud to be able to partner with the Martin Luther King Jr. Commission each and every year to host this event. It's truly a meaningful thing on our campus. You'll see as you leave, hopefully, a number of our students. We're expecting about 80 of our students to volunteer across the city today, and they'll be moving out as we're moving out, going to different locations. A few things about the college. If you don't know, we are a little over 60 years old. We were founded by the Methodist Church. And that two big things that we're really excited about is for the last 3 years, we have been the fastest growing private college in the state of North Carolina. Secondly, we have just been notified that we've been approved to offer master's degrees. So starting this spring, we'll be offering a master's in criminal justice, followed by a master's of business administration, and we really hope this will be something of service to the community. These will be degrees that will be focused on working adults, and so we hope that everyone who would like to continue their education will be able to do that here at Wesleyan College and stay home. So we're so glad that you're here today. We have a great program designed for you, and welcome to Wesleyan College. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Nayana Shirai, a freshman from Nash Rocky Mount Early College. I had the pleasure of participating in the MLK Oratorical Contest, and the experience really enhanced my alert leadership ability. I was able to express my opinion about Dr. King and how his beliefs have impacted my life. I congratulate both of our students who are 2018 winners. The first place contestant winner in grades 6 through 8 is Harmony Braswell, an 8th grader at Red Oak Middle School. Harmony's favorite class is math because she likes to challenge herself with numbers. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, writing, and music. Deja Williams, a freshman at Nash Rocky Mount Early College, won first place in grades 9 through 12. Deja's favorite class is English because she wants to become a writer. In her spare time, she enjoys dancing, modeling, and painting. Sit back, relax, and let's listen to these young people as they share their speeches with us. Harmony will speak first, and then Deja.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Harmony Braswell. Today, I'll be speaking on the topic of building bridges. What is the purpose of a bridge? The purpose of a bridge is to form a connection between two opposing sides. That's why it is important for us to become relational, so we can come together, develop a plan, and work together as a team. First, we have to point out the need to understand our differences. The problem we run into is that some people will deny the fact that we are different by saying, "I don't see a difference," or "I don't see color. I feel we are all the same." What that statement implies to me is, if an individual chooses not to see my differences, then in order for me to be accepted by them, I have to look just like them. Next, we have to decide what strategy is necessary. You see, we can't build a bridge and expect people to just get over it. We want to build a bridge that will accommodate and serve all communities. When we think of all the current conversations about the city of Rocky Mount as it relates to crime, in comparison to Nash County, how can we come together and help one another? In my opinion, crime is continuous in our communities because we don't have respect for one another. I can recall an incident in November when a classmate called me a burnt chicken nugget. Then he proceeded to say, "What are you gonna do about it?" His actions gave me the impression that he did not respect me. My parents tell me to treat others the way you want to be treated. I can assume his parents told him the same thing. So, it is with this thought that we should ask the question, why did he say that? Or, how can he feel comfortable saying that to me? This is a prime example of how accepting differences is crucial to respect. If he respected me, he wouldn't have felt comfortable saying that to me. As Frederick Neal said, it takes both sides to build a bridge. But the only way that we can connect is by acknowledging our differences and respecting them. By doing this, we will find that a lot of our current issues are based on people projecting personal experiences on unbiased situations. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Deja Williams, and I will be speaking on the topic Unfinished Work of a Dreamer. I grew up dreaming. Like an astronaut exploring different planets, I wanted to be something different every year. First it was dance, and then it was writing. One time, in 8th grade, a famous author came to my school to teach a writing class. Although I remember being told that only the AIG kids were allowed to attend, it felt like only the white kids were allowed to attend. The typical school in the area is separated by levels of academic challenge, but the line of distinction can be seen by race. I asked my teacher if I could go, and he asked me why. And I could feel my heart orchestrating out of my chest as I said, "Because I want to write." Then there I was, in a room full of dreamers who were given this opportunity while me, a black girl, had to fight and ask to simply be in the room and have access to it. When I took a seat, a black girl asked me, "Why are you always acting white? You don't have to act like them." So why did my parents judge me if I desired to succeed academically? Making good grades doesn't mean that I act white. Being black doesn't mean that I can't desire to write. Martin Luther King desired that his 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And my generation has flipped this dream. Because if the content of character does not line up with the false stereotypes and social expectations of your skin color, then apparently something must be wrong with you. So we need a drastic change. This cannot continue to be our reality. I still experience unfair racially based experiences in school, and it isn't okay. It isn't okay for a teacher to try and rewrite my race-based experience just because it may have made others uncomfortable when I turned in an assignment that I write my experience. It isn't okay for a student to bring a black doll to school, paint it white, say that this is who she aspires to be, and expect no one to be offended by it. And it isn't okay for you to try and tell me that what she did was not racist. So my young people, read your Bibles, and whatever it says to do for yourself or for others, do it. Even if that means letting go of what's hurting you so you will not hurt others, do it. And teachers, pay more attention to racial issues and stop acting like you do not see them. I grew up dreaming, but like the change of settings in a novel, I changed my dreams year after year. So people, we all can change. Thank you.
so weary when troubles come and my heart's burdened be. Then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. Then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
I am Professor Jason Miller from North Carolina State University. It's my pleasure and honor to be with you celebrating this morning and to introduce today's speaker. What a sincere pleasure it is for us to have Cynthia St. James with us today as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Cynthia is in especially high demand, and we are lucky to have her all the way from Los Angeles. She is both a remarkable artist and a genuinely inspiring person, one I've been so delighted to get to know in recent years. Cynthia is a world-renowned multicultural visual artist, author, and illustrator of 26 books. She is best known for designing the first Kwanzaa stamp for the U.S. Postal Service in 1997, the 2016 Forever Kwanzaa stamp, and for creating the international cover art for Terry McMillan's book, Waiting to Exhale. In addition to winning too many artistic awards to name here, she was commissioned to paint the Mosaic Woman Award presented to Dr. Maya Angelou and a Lifetime Achievement Award for Nelson Mandela. All told, her paintings grace the covers of over 70 books, including books by Pulitzer Prize-winning author Alice Walker and multiple New York Times best-selling authors. It's especially appropriate that she be here with us today because she created several pieces of artwork featuring Dr. King, and she has even been honored with the Coretta Scott King Award for her illustrating. Even more relevant to us, she has also created original artwork for the film Origin of the Dream, currently in production. The documentary film is telling the story of Dr. King's visit to Rocky Mount to deliver his first I Have a Dream speech 9 months before the famous March on Washington, and highlights the previously overlooked connection between poet Langston Hughes and Dr. King. In addition to animation as well as interviews with the city's residents, the film includes actor Danny Glover reading many of Hughes' iconic poems, but it is Cynthia's artwork that is the logo for the film. Inspired by our two earlier speakers, I'm reminded of Langston Hughes saying that sometimes art keeps us laughing to keep from crying. When I see a Cynthia St. James piece of art, it keeps me smiling instead of frowning. As Dr. King said so often, a man can't ride you if your back's not bent. And when I see a painting by Cynthia, it always leaves me standing a little taller, not with my chin higher, but with my shoulders broader. Believe me when I say, I am just excited as you to welcome Cynthia St. James.
It's kind of hard to live up to all of that, what he just said, you know, sometimes. But because I forget what I do, I just know that the next day I got to do something new and learn something more and fulfill another dream. I am so honored to be here, my first time in Rocky Mount, and I know that I'm kind of short talking head behind here. Feel like going like that, so I can you can see more than my head. But when I got the call and the invitation to do this MLK speech today, it was quite an honor. I told everybody. I have like over 5,000 friends and on Facebook, and about 1,800, and on another site, 3,000. And all of them know about me being here, and all of them gave me great congratulations. So then I had to stop reading that because it was making me nervous. But I want to just try to do something just a little different, just from a painter's point of view. And I wanted to just read one line first before I do that. You may not see it, the dream may not be fulfilled, but it's good that you have a desire to bring it to reality. It's well that you are trying. Martin Luther King. Today we celebrate the 89th anniversary on his actual birthday, the 89th anniversary of his birth. So he would have been 89 today. 32-year anniversary of it becoming this MLK federal holiday, and 30 years of this incredible MLK Unity Breakfast in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. So we have a lot to celebrate today. Dr. King was a gifted and brilliant scholar, and I just tried to look up some facts about him that were known but maybe not repeated enough. At 15, he was already a college student at Morehouse, skipping a couple of grades in school. At 19, he was an ordained Baptist minister, a few months before he graduated from college. Can you imagine? At 22, he had received his divinity degree, and at 26, his doctorate. So I think a lot of times we think about him as the minister and the civil rights leader, but we often don't realize that he wasn't quite sure what he wanted to go and how he was going to answer the call to serve. He thought about being a doctor, a lawyer to help civil rights. He wanted to be an educator. He thought about that. But he accepted the call to serve, being all those things combined in one, because he also was a humanitarian. So he was able to give to the people, which was so much more important to him than anything or any name he could make for himself. So when we look at all of the nonviolent movement and the things that he orchestrated, and we forget maybe about even his pilgrimage to India to really perfect that philosophy of Gandhi and the nonviolent movement, can you imagine how much practice it would take prior to going out on a demonstration to not return a violent act or not to hit back someone who hit you? That took a lot of practice. And going back and reading his autobiography, I realized it even more. It was not something that people trained to do that. Are people trained to go out and do those demonstrations and not retaliate? Because of the many things that he did, we're also looking at important acts that the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, the Open Housing Act. He was all instrumental in all of those acts. And then I said, well, this man, was by no means, in his mind, superhuman, but in so many ways he was for us. Then I said, well, what else did he do? I mean, he won so many awards. He was on the cover of Times Magazine, Man of the Year, the youngest to receive that wonderful, the medal that he received. He was like 35. The Nobel Peace Prize, the youngest person to that date to have received that award. Then after his death, I found a fact out that I hadn't realized, which I should have, because back around that time I was in the record business. He won a Grammy for Best Spoken Word for his speech against the war in Vietnam. A presidential gold medal, a congressional medal, and on and on and on. Then, over 900 streets in and around the United States and the world are named after him, including in Brazil, Jerusalem, Senegal. There are monuments and memorials all over the United States and the world, over 25. And they're even in countries like Australia and Sweden and London. What a mark, what a legacy. So the next thing I thought, what do I want to do as far as sharing something with you today? And what I can do is basically show you some of my paintings and give you an idea of the inspiration behind them. But I don't want to just do that. I want it to be interactive. So I'm going to show some paintings, but I want to hear from you and what you see in them as I go through them. So that's the next segment. Okay, the very first painting that I did, The Dream, is based on, of course, the speech. But the sky comes from skies I see in the morning at sunrise. I do a lot of, I'm up very early. I love seeing sunrises, and especially at the beach. I'll drive 40 minutes to get to the beach to see the sunrise. So I wanted that to show the feeling, give you the feeling of a dream. There's two songs in that speech, Our Country 'Tis of Thee and We Shall Overcome, and all of these songs are in his speeches as well as in music. There's always a feeling of music in them as well. So the children at the bottom are about the black and white children connecting. Center, you'll see Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics. And it feels like a choir. I made it feel like a choir because that's what it is. It's musical. And it's an affirmation. Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the dream. The other thing about that painting. It was unveiled in Sacramento, California at the Capitol. and they gave me a big proclamation. It was a really big day with the legislators. Assemblywoman Cheryl Brown gave me that honor. So it was on that holiday, the 50th anniversary of the speech, is when I had done that painting, and for that reason. Before I even knew about the incredible film Selma, I had done so much work at Alabama State University. In fact, I've created 2 commissioned paintings for them over the years, within the last 6 years. And so I was walking all over Montgomery. It's a little black girl walking all over Montgomery, Alabama. If it was in the 60s, I would have been able to do that safely. But the changes and whatever, I was in Rosa Parks Museum, I was at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, and right up the street was a Confederate building. It was just interesting and moving. And at that time, they were getting ready to have a lot of marks put along the path from Selma to Montgomery. And that's what inspired me to do this piece, and also that speech, How Long, Not Long. That's why I titled it How Long, Not Long. And with this, for me, is what it would have looked like 50 years from the day of the march. So you'll see a lot of college students, Selma University, Concordia, Tuskegee, Alabama State, but then you'll see generations of people. If you see this gentleman up here in the gray with the white hair, well, that's evidently his son. And then you'll see children. So I imagine that is what it would have looked like. And without having the flags that were mostly carried during that march, I put flag-like designs in some of the shirts and hoodies, just to make it a bit different, or what I felt it would look like. And what is that one about? That's Dr. Jason Miller and The Origin of the Dream. And when I received that commission from him, I was thrilled, because I'm also, as well as living in New York, both my parents are born and raised New Yorkers. I've spent a lot of time in Harlem. I've lived in Harlem. I've lived all over New York and New Jersey. And when he mentioned that he wanted something that connected Langston Hughes, well, I just love doing that dapper suit over here and that little slick back hair from the era. And it's Harlem when you see the Apollo. So it's very important to me to get that just right, that marquee just right. And then Simple in the center is one of Langston Hughes' main characters in a lot of his writings about Harlem, people in Harlem, and of course King. And then you look back it's supposed to be in the 60s, the early 60s, so there was a lot of the beginning of the African movement and afros, so you'll see more of the afros, a little bit there, and also the kofia, that you know that there's an African presence. There's a big African presence and still is in Harlem. I'm a self-taught artist. I sold my first painting when I was 20 in New York. And I learned to do everything, pretty much self-taught, but I did a whole series on wild domestic animals, realistically. If you saw any of my animals, they would be looking at you. If you came into my apartment back then, you would not steal anything, because tigers and monkeys and bears are staring at you. It was a very safe environment. They were my security. And I learned, and I was commissioned to do a lot of paintings of children for their parents and families. So I learned how to do that. But then I wanted to challenge myself. Back in '85, I went to Martinique. And I wanted you to get the feeling of people and their culture, and even if they were happy or sad, but without features. And so that's what I challenged. And so that's become pretty much my signature style. So what's fun about it is I tell children, because I've done 17 children's books, is that they can put themselves into my paintings and their families. And I've seen grown women, especially during the Terry McMillan period, when I had the piece out with the ensemble that was the cover of the book, they were saying, that's so-and-so, and that's my girlfriend, so-and-so. And sometimes they'd have me writing the name on each person, because that was their girlfriend. So it gives us a chance to use our imagination as well. Now this one came from rereading the autobiography of Martin Luther King. This piece had everything to do with feeling honored to be chosen as a speaker to come here. So I painted this painting in a short period of time because I was coming here. And it reflects what you see at the top of one of my skies, one of my mornings, and what's happening in the ocean. It's like you can look at it very many different ways. It could be that the wave is coming in over you, or it's going in the other direction, and it's dividing at the same time as making things equal. Of course, to your right is Gandhi, all the nonviolent resistance and everything. And I went back and read a little bit about that too, and looked at that almost a year of March. Well, it was a year of the boycott, the bus boycott. But a month where there was over 1 million people that marched with Gandhi that helped achieve overpowering the power the British Empire had on the Indians. So he really felt a lot of inspiration from that and from other people in history like Thoreau. So there's so much. But I wanted that feeling, and it's the people of color. So you see some East Indians. At that point, there was either the Gandhi cap, that was called the Gandhi cap that you guys have on, and the mixture of the both people, the black people of America and the colored people all over the world, especially in India. So it's called Call to Serve. That one's called Call to Serve. Okay, this is lyrics. Just because some cannot see the dream as clear as he, that they should make it become an illusion. And we all know everything that he stood for, time will bring, for peace in our hearts will sing. Okay.
It's truly a blessing to be here. My name is Teresa Alston Stokes, and I am a member of the Human Relations Commission. And all the members of the commission who are here today, could you raise your hand? Thank you, Ms. St. James, and everyone who's come before us this morning. Let's give everyone a big round of applause. I was laughing when Ms. St. James was up here because we met in the back. And we were taking pictures, and someone said, "Oh, you guys are the same height." And I happened to look, and I said, "Well, the only difference is I have on heels." So if I didn't have these heels, you probably couldn't see me behind the podium this morning. But it's truly a blessing to be here. And my job this morning is to present the Service to Humanity Award for this year. This annual award presented by the Human Relations Commission began in 1991 to acknowledge individuals and organizations that have made outstanding achievements in human relations. This year's recipient is very well known in our area for her tremendous dedication and passion toward improving citizens, young and old, quality of life through legislation, advocacy, and service. Senator Angela Bryant is an inclusive diversity and organizational developmental consultant with Angela Bryant Consulting, which is affiliated with Visions Incorporated, a nonprofit educational organization which she co-founded. Senator Bryant has more than 40 years of legal experience and was a North Carolina State Administrative Law Judge for 10 years. She earned her Bachelor of Science degree in math and Juris Doctorate degree in law at the University of North Carolina. How about those Tar Heels? She has held several appointed governmental positions, including service on the UNC Chapel Hill Board of Trustees and UNC System Board of Governors. Senator Bryant is serving her 6th term in the legislature, 3 terms in the House, and 3 terms in the Senate. That stands for a round of applause, y'all. Senator Bryant is currently serving on the following standing committees: Agricultural, Environmental, Natural Resources, Appropriations on Natural and Economic Resources, appropriations-based budget, commerce, and judiciary committees. She is chair of the North Carolina Legislative Black Caucus and chair of the North Carolina Delegation of Roanoke Bi-State Commission, appointed by our governor, Governor Roy Cooper. During the interim, Ms. Bryant has served on the following oversight and study committees: Joint Legislative Oversight Committee, Justice and Public Safety, Joint Legislative Elections Oversight Committee, Joint Legislative Economic Development and Global Engagement Oversight Committee, and Joint Legislative Committee on Agricultural and Natural and Economic Resources. And if you're wondering, there is still more, because you're hearing about a true servant leader. So let me continue. She also is on the Legislative Research Commission Study Committee on Homeless Youth, Foster Care and Dependency, Joint Subcommittee of the Justice and Public Safety Oversight Committee, and Health and Human Services on Mental Health Oversight Committee, and Joint Legislative Oversight Committee on Medicaid and North Carolina Health Choice, in which she's an advisor. Senator Bryant has also agreed to co-chair the new bipartisan and bicameral Life Sciences Caucus on the state side with Senator Tamara Behringer. She lives in our fine city of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and is a member of the Rocky Mount Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. Prior to Senator Bryant's tenure in the North Carolina legislature, she served on the City Council of Rocky Mount from 2003 to 2006. Remarkable Rocky Mount didn't just happen overnight, and we can claim that honor because we have leaders like Angela Bryant contributing to the betterment of our community and our state. On behalf of the Human Relations Commission, it gives us great pleasure to present this year's award to Senator Angela Bryant.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. To the mayor and our speaker of the hour and those on the diocese, acknowledgments to you, and to thank the City of Rocky Mount, the MLK Commission, and the Human Relations Commission, both for this kind recognition and also for your support throughout the years. I just want to thank the city for all you have given me, and most importantly, giving me an opportunity to serve. I think I do represent what we do for our children. Those young people who were up here today remind me of myself and the opportunity that this city provided me and that we now are providing others to serve for generations to come. I also want to give thanks to my life partner who's in the audience, Lorenzo Ellis, for his support, helping me get here on time, too. That was important. And to all of you, my friends and loved ones, for your support over the years. There can be no question in our minds, given all the issues of the day, that there is an important purpose to this annual celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King and his legacy to us. Let us use this sacred remembrance to recommit ourselves to fight racism and all discrimination everywhere we are, every day. Thank you.
Today we gather to celebrate the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man who dreamed of a better world for us all, a man who worked to make that dream a reality. Today we acknowledge that his dream has not yet been fulfilled. We have not yet fulfilled his dream of a day when we live out the truth that all people are created equal. We have not yet fulfilled his dream of a day when the children of former slaves and the children of former slave owners gladly share the table of brotherhood. We have not yet fulfilled his dream of a day when communities sweltering with the heat of injustice and oppression are transformed into oases of freedom and justice. We have not yet fulfilled his dream of a nation where we are judged not by skin color, gender, politics, religion, or money, but by the content of our character. We have not yet fulfilled his dream that one day all children, red and yellow, black and white, will join hands as sisters and brothers. We have not yet fulfilled Dr. King's dream that one day all people with one voice will proclaim, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Sings my soul, my Savior God.
stand for the benediction? May we bow our heads as we shall recess from this mount of privilege, appreciation, opportunity, and courage. We thank God for his wonderful and undeserving grace, mercy, and love. We ask him for courage, strength, and fortitude to preserve this wonderful man's dream, Dr. Martin Luther King, that it will not remain in the halls of celebration and remembrance only, but that we will continue to execute its principles, its values, and opportunity for all mankind. It is in the wonderful, matchless, and overpowering name we asked, and everyone said amen.